Hello and welcome to my channel. A guest on a radio said something strong. He said, "We keep scapegoating one ethnic group in Nigeria. It is unacceptable. The history is there since 1953. He mentioned Kano 1953. He mentioned May 1966. He mentioned after the war in 1970. But some people do say it is even beyond 1953. Some say 1945, Jos or Plateau. I think so.
I've said it on this program severally. I detest the dog whistling of an entire ethnic group in Nigeria. And let's call a spade what it is. It's becoming one too many that we want to consistently and continuously scapegoat the Igbo ethnic tribe in Nigeria, and it's unacceptable. It is unacceptable because there is a history of violence targeted at that group since 1953 in our country. Listen, Caesar, a meeting was held in Lagos, not necessarily a meeting, in Parliament. Anthony Nahoro moved a motion for the independence of Nigeria. The North opposed that motion, and at the train station, when they were going back to their constituency, they met a crowd that was essentially mocking them. They got back to the North. Chief Akintola led a tour across the North, to campaign essentially for the independence, to rally the North in support of Nigerian independence. Guess what happened after that? Riots broke out in northern parts of Nigeria, particularly in Kano, where over 240 Igbos were massacred. Were they the ones that demanded for Nigeria to have an independence at that time? In 1966, particularly in May, months before the Civil War happened, thousands of them were massacred across northern cities, and they had to flee to the east for safety because thousands of them were indiscriminately killed for what they knew nothing about, right? So let's not even talk about the Civil War and the hundreds of thousands that were massacred, and the fact that after 1970, this entire ethnic group had to start from the scratch again to begin to build their lives. And Caesar, look at what they have done since 1970. A group that left or started from nothing, went to Bauchi, went to Kano, went to Meduguri, went to Akure, went to Ogun State, and look what they have built in 40 years of hard work, grit, and no support from the federal government. Look what they have done for themselves. But what we consistently and continuously do is to signal hatred and violence against the group, and this thing has to stop. We can't continue a country. Listen, if you don't want a group of people to be a part, let them go then. I don't understand this. Every turn there has to be an excuse to single out an ethnic group.
So today, let's check it. Is it true? Let's put facts on the table. What has the Igbo man done to Nigeria to deserve all of this? Claim number one, according to him, in 1953, over 240 Igbos were killed in Kano. I did some fact checks and he was right. So this attack, this hatred against Igbo did not start because of 1966 coup. It started before that time. Oh my God. Now here's what happened in that one. He said Chief Anthony Enahoro moved a motion in Lagos Parliament for Nigeria's independence. The North opposed it. Now when Northern leaders went back home, there was tension in Kano. There were insults at the train station, and the crowd became angry, and riots broke out. The record says 240 Easterners, most of them Igbo traders, were killed. Historians describe it as Nigeria's first major ethnic massacre. Like I said, some said it was beyond that. So that part of the Gates statement is correct. It is very sad. We are putting this down for the sake of records. Now, claim number two. In May 1966, thousands of Igbos were killed in northern cities. The fact is that this is yes, it is true. After the January 15 coup, General Ironsi took power. Tension remained high. And by May 1966, riots broke out in the north. Estimate says several thousand Igbos, including families, traders, and students were killed. Because of the violence, thousands of Igbos fled back to the eastern region for safety. That mass movement became one of the events that pushed Nigeria closer to the Civil War in 1967. So, his claim is also supported by historical records. Let's check claim number 3. After 1970, Igbo started from zero with no government support. You are aware of the many Igbo lost houses and businesses under the abandoned property policy. After the war ended, many people recovered only £20, regardless of what they had before the war. Reconstruction in the eastern region was limited, and many families had to rebuild their lives almost from nothing. At the same time, over the following decades, Igbo traders and business owners rebuilt businesses across Kano, across Bauchi, across Benin, across Akure, across Ogun, and many other parts of Nigeria. Their resilience and rebuilding are well known. And without government support, these guys were rebuilding. So, what this guy in the studio is mainly saying is about scapegoating the Igbos. He might not be an Igbo person, but he's no longer happy. He argued that from 1953 until today, there had been a pattern of blaming the Igbo ethnic group wherever major problems arise. He also said that if Nigeria wants the Igbo people to remain part of the country, then hatred and ethnic targeting should stop. If you don't want the Igbo man, allow the Igbo man to go. The Igbo people have suffered enough. That is his opinion. Now, why does all this still matter today? Because history continues to shape how people think and feel. Now, if one community or a particular race or a particular ethnic group feels unfairly targeted for decades, it will continue to raise those concerns. You are dealing with human beings. They must respond. The Gates said the cycle, whatever is happening to Igbo people, should end. So whether you agree with him or not, the historical events he referred to are part of Nigeria's recorded history. Let's summarize it and we'll round up again. It is indeed very sad. In 1953, hundreds of Easterners were killed during the Kano Riots, something that has nothing to do with them. In 1966, thousands of Igbos were killed, massacred, during an anti-Igbo violence in northern Nigeria. After the Civil War, many families had to rebuild their lives from very difficult conditions. There are many reports of killing of Ndi Igbo that we might not begin to discuss here because of time. Or burning of markets dominated by Igbo people or destroying Igbo people's goods. It continued in Nigeria. So you viewers, what do you think? Do you think what the Gates said is correct? Add your comment on the comment section. Share your thoughts respectfully. Thank you for watching. I will see you in our next video.